If you live in Orange County, Newport Beach, Laguna, Corona del Mar, or anywhere around them, you already know what your home is worth right now. And you already know what you're paying for that number every single year in property taxes, in state income tax, in utilities. California's electric rates are nearly double the national average. It's one of the highest in the entire country. And it's the cost of just living there. Here's the question I want to ask instead of the obvious one. Not why would you ever leave California? I already know the answer to that. The coastline, the beach towns, Big Bear an hour away, Palm Desert an hour plus in the other direction, Mammoth for the winter, wine country for the weekend. It's hard to beat the lineup. But here's the honest follow-up. How often do you actually go? If Big Bear, Mammoth, and the wine country exist within driving distance, but you haven't been there in the last year or two, they're not actually part of your life. They're part of your identity, and there's a difference between the two. In this video, I want to make the case for somewhere that gives you the actual lifestyle, the marina, the beach towns, the boutique shopping, the restaurants, without the price tag, the tax bill, or the parts of getting older in a big coastal city that quietly start to shrink your world. Quick thing before we dive in. If you're sitting on real equity in Orange County, and any of this sounds familiar, drop a comment or reach out using the link below. And if this kind of thing is useful, go ahead and hit subscribe now. So let's start with the number everyone actually cares about first, the math. Newport Beach itself is an extreme example. Median home prices, they're well into the millions, and the cost of living index runs over 300, meaning it's more than 3 times more than the national average. But you don't have to live in Newport Beach to feel that pressure. If you're in Irvine, Costa Mesa, Tustin, Mission Viejo, Laguna Niguel, Rancho Santa Margarita, or anywhere else in Orange County, you're still paying California's cost structure and you're still paying California's income tax, up to 13.3% at the top rate. And that's before property tax, before the cost of groceries, gas, insurance, just daily living. Here's the other side. Home prices in Sarasota and Lakewood Ranch area run significantly lower, and Florida has 0 state income tax. Not a lower rate, 0. And if you're sitting on 7 figures of equity in Orange County, that equity doesn't just buy more house here, it stops being taxed in the same way every single year you're earning income, drawing retirement funds, or living off investments. This isn't about being house poor in California and house rich in Florida. It's about what happens to the difference, the equity you free up and the income tax you'd stop paying annually, year after year, for as long as you live here. Here's what I think the conversation usually goes wrong. People assume leaving Orange County means giving up the lifestyle, the marina, the beach towns, the boutique restaurants, that specific feeling of living somewhere that feels like a vacation, even on a Tuesday. It doesn't. That lifestyle isn't unique to the beach cities. It's just branded that way. Sarasota and the surrounding Gulf Coast has its own version of exactly that. Marina towns, barrier islands, boutique shopping districts, waterfront dining, different names, different history, but the same underlying feeling because it's built on the same formula. Water, walkability, a slower pace, great food, and a place that photographs well. And here's the proof that it's not just me making that case. I looked at where Californians are actually going before I made this video. And the latest IRS migration data shows that counties gaining the most people leaving high-tax states like California are places like Maricopa County, Arizona, that's Phoenix, Harris County, Texas, that's Houston, and Clark County, Nevada, that's Vegas. All 3 landlocked desert cities. No coastline, no marina, none of what actually makes Orange County feel like Orange County day to day. Seattle, coastal, but completely different climate. Cold, rainy winters, nothing like what you're used to. So if you actually leaving California to find somewhere with same sun, water, and beach town feel, none of the most popular destinations for Californians actually offer that. That's exactly why Sarasota and the Gulf Coast deserve a serious look instead. And here's the part that surprises people. This area isn't some undiscovered secret. Lakewood Ranch has been ranked the #1 or #2 top-selling master plan community in the entire country for 8 consecutive years based on independent study. Not marketing copy. People are already voting with their equity to move here You'd just be one of them. And this isn't some sleepy backwater standing in for the real thing either. The same national retail brands, restaurant groups, and hotel names you already know and trust from Orange County are represented here too. You're not trading familiarity for the unknown. You're getting the same names, the same standards, in a place that costs a fraction as much to actually live here. So now let's talk about the thing that quietly matters more than any of this as you get older: healthcare. If you're an OC, HOAG is the name everyone knows. It's a genuine reason people hesitate to leave, and that's completely fair. Healthcare access isn't a lifestyle preference. It's real practical concern, and it should be treated as one. But here's the honest comparison, not a sales pitch. Sarasota Memorial Hospital is the only hospital in Florida to earn a perfect 5-star rating from the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services every single year since that rating system began in 2016. It's also been named to Newsweek's World's Best Hospital list, a global ranking, not a regional one. And Lakewood Ranch Medical Center itself, right here in the community we've been talking about, was named a 2026 top hospital in Florida by Forbes. And its rating is a high-performing specialty for heart attacks, hip fractures, knee replacement, and maternity care. This isn't a downgrade in healthcare access. On the data, it's comparable, and in some national ranking, it's arguably stronger. And there's actually an emergency room physically located in Lakewood Ranch itself, not a 30-minute drive away in an emergency, right here. I want to say something directly instead of dancing around it because I think it's genuinely important and it's not sensitive at all. As people get older, safety concerns just don't create fear. They shrink your actual physical world. Fewer walks at certain times, fewer errands alone, less spontaneity. Your radius gets smaller without you necessarily noticing it happening. And I'll tell you from my own experience, when I lived in the OC, security was something that crossed my mind almost everywhere I went in the evening, just pulling into a gas station. Or since living here, unless I'm somewhere genuinely unfamiliar, that thought doesn't cross my mind anymore. That's a small shift. That's the difference between a life that feels open and one that feels careful. It's not a knock on Orange County specifically. It's true of aging in any dense, expensive, high-traffic coastal city. But it's worth naming directly because a bigger, more open, easier daily life is genuinely part of what people are looking for as they think about the next chapter. It's completely reasonable to want that. Now, if you live specifically in Newport Beach, Laguna, or Corona del Mar, truly live there, generational roots, decades of history, a bit of local recognition among your peers, I'm not going to pretend this video is for you. If that's genuinely your identity, your community, no cost comparison changes that, and it shouldn't. But if you're anywhere else in Orange County, Irvine, Costa Mesa, Tustin, the surrounding cities, paying California prices and California taxes without necessarily getting the full postcard lifestyle every day, this is generally worth a look. For a lot of people in that position, this isn't a lateral move, it's an upgrade. Better proximity to the water, comparable, better amenities, real health care, and none of the tax bill. If you're sitting on significant equity in Orange County and you've ever wondered what that actually converts to somewhere like in Sarasota or Lakewood Ranch, not in theory, but in real numbers for your specific situation, that's exactly the kind of conversation I have with people relocating from California. Drop a comment or reach out using the link below and I'll walk you through what specific equity actually buys here. And if this was useful, hit subscribe. I cover real financial and lifestyle side of relocating to this area, not just the postcard version. I'm George Latos.